Hello, everybody. Hi, this is Juan Lee, and I'm here again. It is time for It's Life Live. So, thank you again for all of you who have joined. I think that we are live everywhere, and I don't believe we went live on LinkedIn. And I am so sorry because I can't get us onto LinkedIn if I am not. For instance, guys, I'm here by myself tonight. Oliver's not with us, as I told you on our promo, but I just want to welcome you here to our It's Life Live broadcast where we talk about life. My name is Juan Lee, and it's sponsored by Clear Journey. Clear Journey is a nonprofit that supports individuals and families in education and support in being your very best self. So that's what we do here at Clear Journey. And we do it today on It's Life Live about just what's happening in life. Just how can we do that? And one of the things that we do at Clear Journey is that we talk about a balanced life. And, tonight we're going to go about talking about what Clear Journey does and how we help people be their very best selves. And tonight, because Oliver's not here, and it's not because he's not here, but because he's not here, we have a guest. And that guest is one of my board members of Clear Journey. And we're going to have her here with us. And we're just going to talk about what Clear Journey is all about and how we can help you. So with that being said, we're going to introduce Kay Simon. Hey, Kay.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Kay. I'm doing fine. And you?
Good.
Good.
You ready?
Well, it's great that you were able to be here with us on such short notice. I know that it's middle of the week and we appreciate it, but we decided to have it on the middle of the week because we catch more people out in the house rather than out in the street. So thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Hey, let people know a little bit about you and your experience with Clear Journey, because we've been doing this for about 2 years, and you've been with us for about a year and a half. What'd you say?
A year? Yeah.
Yeah.
About it.
So what do you think about the mission of Clear Journey as it relates to a balanced life and how we can help people become their very best selves?
Yeah. So when we talked about, Clear Journey and your vision for the organization, one of the things that stuck with me is really providing people resources. I think resources and accountability is really important. And I think that's one of the beauties of what we're trying to do at Clear Journey is providing people with resources and also with the accountability with your mentorship and your coaching, to ensure that they know that they can have a reach back at different points in life. So for me, a balanced life is all about having the things that you need in your toolbox in order for you to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it. It's having the tools and being aware of some of the things that you might not have otherwise been aware of, and being able to know, hey, these are some things that I can put in my toolbox so that, we can't plan what's going to happen. I think something that I say at the end of each episode, we talk about the fact that I can't change life, but we can help you navigate it. And that's one of the things that we talk about here is the ability to have the tools that you need to navigate this thing called life. And so the balanced life is the toolkit that we use so that people can be able to pull from and begin to say, okay, what is it about this thing? And just so that we understand what we talk about in the balanced life, we're talking about 8 areas of life that for the most part covers every issue and circumstances that we might come into contact with, and just to give you an idea of this, we have career, and the things that we basically all of us have to gain in our lives, have a career. We have to have a way of making a living, and how we do that And for the most part, most of us, we should be happy when we're doing that if possible. And I think if we learn how to pick a career, and that's some of the things that we want to do is help people with that area. um, it's important. What do you have to say about a career oriented woman as yourself?
I think, for me, I think finding your career that's connected to something that is our passion, or it's something that's really triggering an interest or a skill that you have is very important, because every day is not going to feel joyful. It's going to feel like you're actually completing something that you are enjoying, right? Like you're not waking up every day saying, oh my gosh, not another day, like they usually say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's something that many of us, in many cases, we don't realize that we have a choice and being able to
Absolutely.
do that. And before we know it, we're into doing something for the money, and it's not purpose driven at all. It's just dollar bill driven. So that creates a little bit of a hassle when things get, over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we try to look at money as the North Star when it comes to our careers, when in reality, making sure that you feel as though you're having an impact with whatever you're doing is the most important thing, as outcome. Otherwise, why are you doing it if you're not in a position that you feel like your effort is worth something?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, again, this is one of the areas that we talk about at Clear Journey, as a
Mhm.
part of a balanced life, because it's about, and to be honest with you, um, in this process of living this thing called life, because it's life, um, we want to be able to navigate it and to our benefit as a way in which we go about doing it. And
Right.
so, and then one of the other ones, it's health. And I'll mention that in the sense of that it's so many aspects to it. It's physical, mental, and emotional health. Are you with us, Kay? Yeah, we look like we've lost Kay. Um, but hopefully she'll be back. um, but that's one of the areas that we also talk about, and as a part of the balanced life is that health. So that is an area that we also deal with. So let's see if we can get Kay back. Kay, you're back.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm just gonna pop up on me. We're gonna deal with these technology glitches, and we're just gonna pop up. That's it.
Hey, and Oliver normally takes care of this, but I'm going to basically do the best I can with what I got.
No
So I
problem.
appreciate you for popping back again.
I'll pop back in. Don't worry.
Okay, so we were talking about health, and the three areas of health was talking about mental health, physical health, and emotional health. So what you got? Did you say anything about that for us?
I mean, honestly, what is life without health, right? Like I have learned from a very young age that you have to take care of yourself. If you are not okay, you can't take care of other people. And I say that, and I have to remind myself of that every day, whether it's emotionally, mentally, and physically, or even, in any other capacities. You have to make sure that you check in with yourself. Don't get on the plane, put your seatbelt on first for yourself before you help the other person. And so if your health is not okay, how can you best you to other people if you're only giving yourself 20%?
Yeah, and that's the whole point. I mean, we very rarely, and most time, especially I know, being married, my wife is always worrying about other people. That's the physical, that womanly instinct, that thing that always concerned with other people.
Oh my,
Sometimes she neglects herself, and so I know that's an issue that we all have to be conscious of.
yeah. I mean, you saying that is very true. And I think that also connects with, when we talk about relationships as another area, and making sure that relationships are sound, making sure that you have someone, whether they're your romantic significant other, or your relationship, or your friendships, or your platonic or coworkers, those relationships, you have an accountability person to check in on you to make sure that you are okay. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have that, you can't accomplish things on your own without your support team. And I think that's where the other area of relationship is most important.
Well, right, since we're talking about relationships, it just talks about the various types of relationships. That's the other one of the other 8 areas we talk about relationships. And I think so many times we fail to realize that those connections, regardless as to where they might be, whether they are at the basketball court, at the opera, at the schoolhouse, these are all considered relationships. They're business relationships, they're intimate relationships, they're social, all kinds
Exactly.
of connections are considered relationships. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that in many cases, we don't recognize and realize that they all need to be nurtured, all of them.
Correct. Yes. Correct. I think the nurturing part is the most important part, and also to understanding your level of effort in those relationships. And don't get me wrong, as we talk about it being balanced, there's times where you have to put in more in some buckets than you do others, but at the same time you still have that accountability. So like people knowing, okay, you might be in this phase right now, but I'm still going to push you. I'm still going to check in on you when it comes to relationships, even your business relationships or your work relationship, that you assume to just be like, that is what it is. You're just that business person. That person checking in is definitely just as important as the next person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, just to interject here a little bit, for those of you who are following on Facebook or was not able to get in on LinkedIn, you can go to Facebook or you can go to uh, the
You too.
YouTube channel. And I just want to tell you in advance that I don't have access to any of those. So if you're putting comments, I want to apologize to you in advance. But I will get a chance to look at them after the podcast and I will get back to you with some of those responses. But just to keep going on these 8 areas that we were talking about,
Mhm.
the next one I think is something that we all are familiar with, that we oftentimes, like we talked about in our careers, it's finances. We
Right.
want to understand that finances is something that is in every area of our lives. We have to be able to manage our finances because our finances are what allows us to reach our goals. There's at the root of it, to be honest with you. It's at the root of it. Everything requires some type of financing. And
Mhm.
how we manage that is important. And that's something that we talk about here at Clear Journey is how to manage your money, the finances. What do you say
Yeah.
about that?
I mean, for me, I would say finances is definitely one of your key tools, right? Like for me, when it comes to moving forward, you need to have good relationships and you need to have good understanding of how your finances are being used and managed. Um, that's the reason to me I think it is definitely one of those toolkit things that you have to put in your back pocket as you go through with life.
Yeah, I don't think we can overstate that enough because the abilities to be able to um, know when to spend, when to save, what to save, how to save, all of those things are important not only in our pursuit of our goals, but also in just our day-to-day living, you know. And
Right.
so for that reason, it makes it essential to being able to be able to manage our money, you know.
Yep. Yep.
One of the next ones that we deal with, it has to do with self-awareness and personal improvement. You
Hmm.
know, this right here, I think a lot of times I think about mental health and the
Hmm.
ability to be able to be self-aware.
Yep.
Um, but that's the thing that helps us improve ourselves. That desire to want to improve ourselves is first of all being self-aware of where we are and that we need help.
Yep. could I just add to that? I think consciousness is also a part of it, right? Like the awareness is not just the self, but also other people. Like how you impact other people is really the key to self awareness. Um, and it could be something that is instant or something that you sit and you reflect on that can make a difference in the relationship, in your impact, in your future connections, and even your future, because people remember you. They remember how you responded. They remember what you said and how you said it. It's really in, you know how they say it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
Hmm.
They connect with the how you said it versus the what you said, because you impacted them in a certain way. Being conscious and being self-aware of that is definitely important to me.
Yeah, yeah. I just got LinkedIn up just in case. Just in case. I know, I'm sorry, but I just was able to reestablish it and I see that it's up. So for those that were LinkedIn, I'm sorry we're late, but here we are. Thanks. Just to reintroduce Kay Simon, she's one of our board members from Clear Journey, and we're just going over the benefits of a balanced life and some of the things that we at Clear Journey support and try to give people the tools that they can use to navigate life a little bit better. Um, Also, so now we're at number 4 or 5, I believe. We just went through career, we went through health, we went through finance, we went through relationships, we went through self-esteem, or not self-esteem. It was a self-awareness and self-improvement. And now we go into something that I think is at the foundation of all of us, and that's our physical environment. This is something that a lot of people don't really take a lot of time or to think about or to emphasize, but it lays the foundation as it relates to how we pursue our our goals, and it's how
Mhm.
well we are organized in our self, in our space, you know,
Right.
in how we look at things that we're doing so that it aids us instead of works against us, because it's nothing worse than looking for something that you need at a specific time and not have it to be there at your disposal. Can you relate to that, Kay?
Yeah, you're talking to a planner junkie. So in the real world, I am the queen. As I look at my purse, I'm looking at two planners. Um, in reality, I do agree with making sure that you have order, right? And I think when you have order, it helps you kind of reset, but not stay paralyzed, because I think that's where the physical environment comes in. It's like, okay, I know I have to do these things. Let me reset myself and then function. And I think it's the function part that you need to understand, that once you put things in order, you have things done. I also was raised by a military father. So he always said, you know, when you create the system's gonna work for you. And so you wake
Over and
up.
over again.
Right. So you wake up and you know you got to brush your teeth. You know you got to fix your bed. You know you got to do these things. Keep creating these routines is really a part of your environmental space in order for you to be successful. Now, that doesn't mean, in my opinion, that there can't be things that can't fit into because things happen, but it's knowing that you can go back to that routine that makes it an environment of, you know, consistent improvement, consistent change, openness to adapt, you know, and to connect.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think when you said routine, because it gives you, because even if life throws you a curveball, you have a place to start. You have a baseline to say, okay, that took me for a trip for me, but this is my baseline. I can get
Yes,
back on this horse and start from here instead of having to go all the way back to the beginning because that was an unexpected turn there. But this is my baseline. Hey, I'm going to do this. I got this. Now I'm building again. That's critical. I think that routine is essential. And when you pull in the military, you know I'm right there with you. You
I'm
know
connected.
that.
I know. I did that just for you. I did that just for you.
That's me because that's a part of my story here because how did I get to where I am? It was because of that bigger part, and we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get to one of our last parts here. Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, so then here's one I think that I don't think we realize how important this one is. And it is so important, I think, that we need to spend time and emphasize it more and more. And it's called fun and recreation. It's that ability to be able to unplug.
I love it.
And just relax in those things that you have identified as those things that bring enjoyment and pleasure to you.
Can I just say fun and recreation should always feel not just like a thing that you have to do, but also a reward and a gift. And that's something that I look at fun and recreation. Like, I have done the hard thing. What am I going to do to gift myself? Or what am I going to do to reward myself as I go through stuff? It can be the smallest thing. Like, for me, sometimes it's like, okay, you're just going to go to the grocery store and you're going to pick one thing that makes you happy in this moment. And that is your reward, right? You may not be able to go on a trip, but you can go to the grocery store and get you something that tastes good, and that's like a whole trip in my head because I've rewarded myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in reality, the fun and recreation is something that we run away from a lot because we're on automatic and don't learn to stop, check in, and say, okay, I'm missing something. And we're like, well, I just did that. And it's like, yeah, but were you present in that moment or were you still on automatic? It's really that moment for you to release and relax.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Truly learning what that means for yourself so you can be the best you go back on Monday or Tuesday or whenever day.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many of us, the old adage, you're living for the weekend. But the fact of the matter is that that weekend or that getaway, that time of relaxation, because most of us, I mean, some of us take the weekend to do work. And in some cases, people that's their unplug. I think back to my dad. My dad, he was out in the yard cutting the grass, cutting weeds and stuff like that, and he looked like he's doing more work. But that was his unplug. That was his way of unplugging. So it's important that everybody recognize what it is. I think of my wife. She reads a book. She just likes to curl up in a corner and read a book. Yeah. Hey, to me, I like to get on my bicycle. I get on my bicycle and ride forever. I will ride and spend the whole day on my bicycle. So it's just understanding what that is for you so that you understand that that's that reward. That's that, hey, whatever it was that you were going through, it only comes to pass. Give yourself that avenue, give yourself that valve to release and let go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's very important. And I think and people need to understand that can also change over time, right? Like, the thing that gave you joy at that time may have been because of your circumstances. And now you need to re-identify and realign with a new thing that might trigger you to say, oh, this is peace. This is joy. Even if it's a little peace, a little joy in chaos. You know what I mean? You got to find that and you got to figure out what that looks like for you because it goes back to the other areas, right? Like, if you don't have that moment of separation from busy work, career, life, even some relationships, and all of those things, even gaining the money for the finances, you're not going to be the best you because you're being challenged and you're on that wheel without saying, when do I stop? Like, when is my time? You got to go back to my time is now and giving myself an hour. I mean, I've challenged many friends and I'm like, hey, I love you, but I'm going to take the kids. You can have an hour. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you sit there and you look at the wall. but you get an hour to breathe without somebody calling your name. Or, even for myself, you get 15 minutes between meetings to go walk to the corner, come back, so you get some vitamin D and you reset and you check in and then you be your best self. It's just
It's
smart.
something very interesting that you said though is that as you go from stage to stage in life, that you have to maybe to look at what you used to, the things that gave you peace and joy in one stage, it might change in a different stage. And I think that's very relevant. And I think I say that because it really plays into one of the other things that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And that's my book, Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success. And that the way in which I wrote that book it was about at stages in your life and the things
Mm-hmm.
that you need to be able to understand that if you are at one stage in life, you need something different than you were in a different stage of life. And one of the things that came to mind in my life, in my journey, it was a real big one. I realized when I got married that things changed. Things
Mm-hmm.
changed. When I said that I used to like to ride bicycle all day, I used to do that all the time before I got married. Things changed. Things changed. So I had to realize that, that's not something that I can do as much as I used to do before I was married. And I have to get those opportunities when I can. But we got to realize that we're at different stages in life and we have to make that adjustment to those stages. And that goes into a lot of things because in every one of these areas that we're talking about, there's a different requirement at different stages in our life. Are we talking about our careers? Are we talking about our health? Are we talking about our finances? Are we talking about relationships? Are we talking about self-improvement? Are we talking about our physical environment and also recreation and fun? The things that I
Mm-hmm.
used to could do when I was 25, I can't do them and I'm 55, that just ain't gonna happen. So I have to monitor that and make sure that I'm conscious of what that is. So all that's great. That is really, really good.
Yeah. I think it's important for us to be aware of that as well.
Yeah. The last one, and this is something that, again, I gained this perspective from my experience in writing my book, Love Made Simple. And this is just a shameless plug here. You can pick this up on Amazon, or you can go to my website, Love Made Simple, or JuanLeeTheAuthor.com and pick up a copy of it. It's now on Audible also. So by far and by all means, have at it. That was my shameless plug there. Um,
I need to get
all
one
of
of those.
these, and by the way, all of the purchases go towards helping us at Clear Journey. So by all means, go there, pick up a book, and you'll learn a little bit more about me and who I am and what caused me to start this nonprofit, Clear Journey. But that goes into our final area of life, and it's called humanity. And it's how all of those areas fall under this umbrella of humanity. So
Yeah.
many people don't recognize that we are all connected. And when we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about relationships and being connected, this thing called humanity is, and as we set goals for ourselves, goals that are relevant to the bigger picture. And this is that time that I bring in how I figured out this bigger picture was through my experience in the military, where it was about I was a part of something bigger than myself. It gave me purpose. And that's a
Mm.
part of what Clear Journey is about, that we have the right attitude to be able to present ourselves, to put ourselves in the right space so that we can manage these areas of it in our lives, to understand that we are part of something bigger than just ourselves. And when we have purpose, we can pursue and understand that our careers are important. And we look at our careers differently than just something that gives us money. And then
Correct.
we talk about our careers that feed into those finances that we're able to manage so that we can pursue something that's greater than ourselves, make an impact on influence on other people's lives. And then we talk about those relationships, those parts that we connect to that allow us to know that our fulfillment is in being able to connect to someone, then give that helps us facilitate our purpose. That's what those relationships are all about. We add value to one another. So humanity is important in every aspect, that when we understand where we fit, man, it allows us, gives us purpose in everything that we do. Even when we're fun and in recreation, if we understand it's important for us all to be able to have a little peace, a little bit of fun in the sun, so to speak. And I can help you reach your fun in the sun. Like you were saying, you take your friends' children away and say, look, I'll give you an hour just to get a little bit of a sense of peace. I'll take them for an hour. That's humanity.
I also think it's really important to look at, and this goes back to what I was saying about self awareness and your impact. Humanity seems big to a lot of people, but the reality is, it's like, how are you impacting people? That's really the layman's term of it, right? Like, how are you impacting people with just you being you? And it's not on the blame side, it's more of the self check in side, which is that self awareness side of saying, am I truly being my best self? Am I bringing the I know we like to use the word authentic, but that authenticity that we're talking about is, are you comfortable with how you represent yourself?
How you
And
show
if
up.
yeah, how you show up. And if you're comfortable with how you show up to other people, then in return, you will start to see and reap the benefits of how you show up. Now, if you don't get too much benefit, you got to start asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Right.
Right.
And so I think that's the beauty of introspection, checking in, self awareness, consciousness of that, and how you impact people in all levels of all those areas in life, in career, in relationships, and all of it. And most of all, most important is yourself. Because if you cannot check yourself, when other people check you, you're not going to be happy with it because you don't know how to process it. You don't
And,
know
and
how to process it.
and that's the whole thing of understanding the value that you bring to those relationships. But it has to be that you're aware of it first. You have to be self-aware of that value that you're bringing, and knowing that it's connecting you to a bigger picture, to know that that's how you're showing up. You know, one of the things that I had to understand in my journey is that I had to find my value. You know, my experience, and I know many people on this platform has heard my story, but short of knowing your value in the bigger picture, you really don't even show up in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You don't even show up. And that's
Yeah.
that's that's minimizing yourself. But
Yeah.
that's so important to know who you are.
Yes, that's so true. I had someone this week actually. I was in a meeting, and one of the icebreakers, the person asked, what is most valuable to you, and what is most important to you? And one of the things that I said is, I am a giver, but I also love quality time. And because my faith leads with that, and my heart and family is my support system, meaning my friends and family, because for me, my friends are also part of my family circle. That's really important to me. Me knowing that I have an impact on people, whether it's at my job, whether it's me seeing you on the street and I know I can help you, whether it's whatever it is, that you know that I am doing this with the best intention. That is really where my value comes in, because that's my source, right? And so I think my also the other reason for me stating that is because when I know that I'm not on my game, the same support system and the people who know the real me will say, what's going on? And that's
Mhm.
where those relationships come back in, and that self-awareness comes back in, and they're like, something off. Like, do you want to talk about it? Do you need, and that's giving you the opportunity to self-check in, to do that awareness check, to improve, to create, you know, and I think that is the beauty of having the space of creating that community, creating, understanding the humanity of it all and your impact, understand, your environment and all of the things.
Hey, that again, that's the thing that we use to put all of it together is it brings us into purpose. It really
Yeah.
makes life worth living at that point when you can actually put everything under that umbrella of humanity and show up in a way in which that not only do it impact this generation, this time, but it impacts
Yeah.
the generation to come.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the fact that we could still talk our story about our parents or our grandparents and how they impact your current, that also leans into the importance of knowing your impact in humanity, right? And I think I heard you and Oliver talk about this in a previous one of like, how did you feel that your family impacted you and shaped you? And I think that's where you see the legacy of it all comes in, right? And that's really
Hmm.
important. You
Yeah.
understanding that who you are as a person is literally legacy. Literally
That's
legacy.
it. I mean, and the thing about it is every day we get an opportunity to sow into that legacy that will live
Yeah,
on long after we're gone.
absolutely. Absolutely. I got one shameless plug though. Should I do my shameless plug?
Go right ahead.
Okay. My shameless plug is really about a Clear Journey event that we're going to have on November the 6th. And the reason why it's my shameless plug is because we're talking about health and talking about health from a healthy perspective, a health lens that impacts your family and your bonds. And I don't know if people understand how deep that is because we're checking you for yourself, but we're also checking your relationships and how you present yourself to the table from the health perspective. So we're going to have some speakers there. We're going to have great content to support people. And there might be some goodies. I don't know. Just letting you know, there might be a giveaway. But at the end of the day, I'm like spilling all the beans.
Yeah, here you are. It's okay.
But
You go right ahead.
I know this is the part where I could take advantage. Um, but essentially, I think this is a great opportunity for people to really learn or check in. You know, look at these events as check-ins for yourself. Not, oh, not another event for me to go to tell me the 5 ways of being the best me, but the 5 ways of me checking in with myself to see, am I being the best me, right? I think it's all important on the perspective of how you look at resources. And it's not just another book, it's not just another webinar, it's not just another conversation. Look at the conversations as to what am I going to take and shift, pivot, or what am I leaving and keeping in the back of my mind in case a situation arises.
Yeah, it's about all about being your best self. I mean, I know that's the word that people are using, but literally that's what we're trying to promote is that we all to live and to become our very best selves and recognize how to do that. You know, people say it, but they don't give us any steps. They don't show us how. And what we want to do here at Clear Journey is give you the tools to be your very
That's it.
best self.
Yeah.
That event, if you're interested, you can go to clearjourney.org. It's on the website as an event in November, and you can register for it there. I don't have the flyer here because Oliver is not here. So next week when we come up, we'll have the flyer. You'll be able to see it. But it's called Harmony at Home. That's basically what it's all about. And so we're going to have a great time. And as Kay has said to the board, you know, she's a board member. She's basically dropped it out there and said that there might be something that you might get as the benefit of coming. So I think she might know something that I don't know, but that's okay. We're going to make it happen.
And
She's
like
spoken it.
I'm a giver, so I'm here ready to give. I'm gonna be like the Oprah Clear Journey. You get a gift. You get a gift. It's exciting.
Okay, Oprah. Okay, Oprah.
Oprah Clear Journey. Why not? I'll take
Okay, all right. Hey, it's all about it. That's what it's all about. So I mean, it's great. Again, this is what our desire is here at Clear Journey. It's to be givers. I mean, and she's a perfect person for that because that's what we want to do. Is we want to help you to be all you can be in every area of your
to,
life,
you
and
know,
that's
Clear
what the balanced
Journey.
life is about.
Yeah.
You froze, so go ahead and repeat it again.
I literally said, I'm just excited for people to show up because you're going to get so much content out of it. You're going to get the opportunity to connect with people who are professionals in the fields, that connects with health. And it's not just the person telling you to do 15,000 reps to get 5 abs in 2 days. It's not that type of content. It is truly practical steps, an opportunity to communicate, bring your questions, bring, whatever thoughts that you may have to get it cleared up because you have the opportunity to communicate.
Yeah. And if you have any other additional questions, go to clearjourney.org. We have some points over on the website as it relates to all areas, as it relates to some steps that you can follow in each and every one of those areas. And we will be having quarterly webinars starting in 2024. And they will be all surrounding all of these areas. We can't have everyone, every week or every month, but we're going to have one of them every quarter. So there are going to be 4 of them every year. So we're going to be helping you in any way we can to support you in just being your very best self. That's our only motivation here, guys. And if you want to support us, don't get me wrong, you can also go over to Clear Journey and donate. We're not ashamed to help to take the help. If anybody's interested and want to be involved with our program, just info me at just give me an email at info@clearjourney.org. Send me an email or any of my social media I'm out there on, and we would love to have you. Someone who has a heart to serve. That's what we are. That's what we want to do. But if you're interested, please come on, give me some contact. Just contact me. We'll be more than happy to talk to you. Anything else you'd like to add, Kay, before we call it a night? I know this is a little bit of a impromptu short notice for you, but is there anything that you like to share in closing?
No, just thank you for the opportunity. I hope to see and hear from people in reference to our event. And if you are also interested in being on the board, we'll be happy to have you. Remember that, there's no such thing as I don't have a skill. Everyone has a skill, and we are open to utilizing those skills when it comes to serving other people. Like you said, having the heart to serve is all that is needed. And really and truly, that is a huge step in itself.
Yeah, I can't say that enough. It's been great to have people on your team that really have an idea of wanting to serve, and it's essential. So we want to stay, how do I say it, synergized, so to speak, in the sense that we're all on the same page as relates to wanting to serve one another.
Yes.
Again, if you want to help us and get something in return, by all means, pick up my book, Love Made Simple, The Guide to Inner Peace, Contentment, and Success. It would be a great benefit if you did. And like I said, it's on Audible. Not many of you know, but the Audible voice on this book is Oliver. Oliver is the one who's actually reading the book. So if you're interested in wanting to hear him this week, grab my book and listen to him. All righty. Okay. That being said, if you have any questions, I'm sorry. I apologize if you had put any marks, any comments in any of the LinkedIn or the Facebook. I will go through there and take a look at them and reach back out to you. But by all means, we appreciate you being here. I don't know whether or not Oliver will be back next week. If not, I'll be here. And we look forward to seeing you then. Okay. So until then, like I said before, we can't change life, but we can surely help you navigate it. All righty. Till next time. Talk to you then.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Kay, for being here.
You're welcome.